It's only one thing left to talk about. It's the main event. It's the one that most people are paying attention to. It is the women's NCAA tournament. Okay, it is the women's NCAA tournament. There's nothing else to pay attention to. All right, I'll get to the NBA when I get to the NBA. But this tournament right here is shaping up to be what I thought it was going to be. It's been mostly chalk. You had a couple of upsets, but it's been mostly chalk along the way, which is what we want. Because we want the stars deep into the tournament, and is what we get. Now, I did say it's been a few upsets. Middle Tennessee State taking down Louisville. It's not. I'm not really surprised because I knew Louisville ain't been the same. When the heavy Van transferred to LSU, I knew this at some point they were gonna get caught, and they got caught in the first round. And then the big upset, Carolina Lawson, Coach Larson had her Blue Devils come back from an 18-point deficit in Columbus, Ohio. Not only stunned the Ohio State Buckeye fans, but the Ohio State Buckeyes themselves, and sending them home packing in the round of 32. Shout out to Coach Lawson and the Duke Blue Devils. Big time upset on that side. Gotta give them credit for what they did. Gotta give them love for that. Now, unlike like I did with the men, I'll reverse the roles. We're gonna dive into the top seeds of the women's first, and then we're gonna break it down by conferences. All right. So the one season in women's, they have been pretty much done like the men. Outside of Iowa, who had a scare by West Virginia on Monday night with an unseed herd of free throws. It was like 35-3 on free throw attempts for Iowa over West Virginia. That's crazy. But nevertheless, let's dive into a piece by piece. The number one team in all of basketball, men and women, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Obviously, we expected South Carolina to do what they did to Presbyterian in 91-39. But look what they did to North Carolina. Look what they did to North Carolina. They beat the brakes off North Carolina. Oh, my Lord. I don't know how Deja Kelly was feeling doing that game, but it was over. It was just over. Like, South Carolina was up, I think it was what, 56-19 at halftime? 56-19 at halftime. Think about that. South Carolina was up 56-19 at halftime. You just had to know that if you're a North Carolina fan, you knew your season was done. It was just done. And it was like, when South Carolina treated North Carolina, that there was a 20 seed. You just felt bad for Deja Kelly and the North Carolina Tigers. You just felt bad. It's like, that is ridiculous of what they look. As you, those who can see and read it, those who are listening to those who are listening to the audio or just listening in person without watching the video. South Carolina has scored 179 points and they only gave up 80. That is a plus 99. They are almost plus 100 in 2 games with an average margin of victory of 49.5. The best team of all of college basketball is South Carolina Gamecocks. The way they're just beating teams is just disrespectful, okay? They are the number one overall seed. The second number one seed was the Iowa Hawkeyes, okay? They have put up 155 points to 119. That is a plus 36 with an average margin of victory of 18. That's because of that scare that they had on Monday against the West Virginia Mountaineers. West Virginia, despite taking, let's say, 32 less free throws than the Iowa Hawkeyes, only lost by 10. Could that be a scare point for the Kindergarten Iowa Hawkeyes, or that could be a launching point for Kindergarten and the Iowa Hawkeyes because they almost lost in their final game at Cobra Hawk Arena? That's a question. Then your third number one seed was the USC Trojans, winners of the Pac-12. They came out there. They went up against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the Islanders, and they treated like Islanders because they beat them by 32. And then they decided to go into the round of 32 against the Kansas Jayhawks, the AC, and they decided to beat them by a good 18. So their USC right now is 160 to 110. Average margin of 25 because they are plus 50 in the win column. And then the final one seed, Cole Johnson, if you're still listening, your Lady Longhorns of Texas, they have looked pretty impressive. Winning their first game over Drexel by 40. Getting a little fight from the AC Crimson Tide of Alabama, but beating them by 11. That brings the Texas Longhorns having a score card of 147 to 96. That is a plus 51 with an average margin of victory of 25.5. So just like the men, the ladies 1 seeds are pretty dominant. Pretty dominant. Outside of a scare from West Virginia to Iowa, and Alabama putting up a fight somewhat against the Longhorns. Outside of that, it's been dominant. And it's been more dominant by South Carolina more than anybody in college basketball. They just beating everybody. Okay. So now that we got the 1 seeds out the way, let's break it down by conferences. The ACC, they saw 8 teams come from that conference. 5-3 in the round of 64 with North Carolina and Duke, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, and NC State. And then in the round of 32, they went 3-2. Losing Virginia Tech and NC State. Losing Virginia Tech and missing the team here. And North Carolina. South Carolina just destroyed them. Let's talk about it. My bad. So you have Duke, NC State, and Notre Dame left. The upset loss always Louisville, taking that L in around 64 to 11 seed, Middle Tennessee State. So we have 3 remaining from the ACC. Let's move on to the Big 12. The Big 12 saw 7 teams get in it. 7 teams from the Big 12. 7 undefeated in the first round. Undefeated in the round of 64. Texas, Kansas State, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas, Oklahoma, and the rest of Virginia. And then around 32 happened in 2 and 5, but only Texas and Baylor remained for the Big 12. And then we move on to the Big East. The Big East, they had the same amount of teams as the men, and it's the same 3 teams in the men: Marquette, Creighton, and UConn. Marquette was the first team to take an L in the round of 64, was leaving UConn and Creighton. And then Creighton took an L, which only leaves UConn remaining. So the UConn men and UConn women still remains in both tournaments. It's good to know because you only had 3 teams on both sides. So that is what it is. From the Big East to the Big 10. 7 teams from the Big 10. 4-3 in the round of 64. Ohio State, Nebraska, Indiana, and Iowa survived the first round. And then in the round of 32, 2-2 with Iowa and Indiana surviving because that shocker that happened at Ohio State, as you see the upset loss. 2 seed Ohio State took an L at home to the 7 seed Duke. And obviously, Nebraska as a 6 seed had a tough matchup. Weren't going to win it. Obviously, they did. Then there's a road to the Pac-12. When you go to the Pac-12, we had 7 teams from the Pac-12 in it. 6-1 in round 64. Colorado, Oregon State, Stanford, USC, UCLA, and Utah. And then 5-1 in the round of 32. That's leaving Colorado, Oregon State, Stanford, UCLA, and USC. With the lone loss coming from Utah, as we talked about earlier, with the whole racial remarks and all that type of stuff, they weren't focused and they took an L to the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And then the SEC coming in with 18 just as the men. Had 2 teams playing the play-in. Auburn took an L, Vanderbilt took a W. And then 5-2 in the round of 64 with South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and LSU winning. And then 2-3 in the round of 32, leaving South Carolina and LSU. Obviously not surprising when you see Alabama as an 8 seed, Tennessee as a 6 seed, and Ole Miss as a 7 seed. Not very surprising. These 3 teams lost in the round of 32 because they were going to get better teams, better competition, and stuff like that. Tennessee pushed NC State as much as they could, but it wasn't going to happen. So that's where we at so far. And then here's what we have left in the Sweet 16, ladies and gentlemen. All 4 1 seeds remaining. South Carolina, Iowa, USC, and Texas. 3 2 seeds remaining in Stanford, UCLA, and Notre Dame. Obviously, the other 2 seed was Ohio State. All 3 seeds. All 4 3 seeds. So I said all 4 3 seeds remain. NC State, UConn, Oregon State, and LSU. Couple of 4 seeds with Gonzaga and Indiana. Couple of 5 seeds with Baylor and Colorado. And the lowest remaining seed left is the Duke Blue Devils at a 7 seed. And that makes up for a great matchup because all these names, school-wise, are all known. So we can have some interesting matchups starting Friday. And on Friday, beginning at 2:30. 2:30 on Friday. Oregon State, Notre Dame. Outside of South Carolina, you used to ask me who is the hottest team in women's college basketball. Outside of South Carolina, it is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They went through that ACC tournament with no problem, and they had no problems in their first 2 rounds. They are Coach Ivy is doing her thing with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and then Oregon State. Them girls, one of the surprising teams in college basketball because nobody thought Oregon State would be sitting here at 26-7 as a 3 seed in Albany 1, Region 1 in Albany. Okay, so we in Albany and Portland. Those are basically the 2 regions right there. Winners of those move to Cleveland. Looking forward 2:30 Beavers Fighting Irish. That's gonna be a hell of a game. That's on all 4 of these games on ESPN. After that game at 5 p.m. on ESPN in Albany. Woo. Noted Indiana got their hands full. They looked good in the tournament. But now they're going against the best team in all college basketball in South Carolina. It's going to be a tough one for Indiana. Let's see if they can make it a game with the South Carolina Gamecocks because remember, they are winning by an average of 49.5 points per game in 2 games in the tournament already. They are smacking teams. They just got done smacking North Carolina. Indiana's a 4 seed. If they can stay within distance through the first half, they have a chance to play. If South Carolina treat them like they did North Carolina, by halftime, that game's over. You can say by midway in the second quarter, the game over. Indiana got their hands full. Can they hold on and take down the Gamecocks? I don't see it. But it's going to be a tough one. Okay, after that game, let's head into the Portland region. Portland 4. As it will be NC State, the 3 seed, taking on the 2 seed Stanford Cardinals. Woo-hoo, boy. Is it me or these matches are so juicy to watch from the women's side? NC State versus Stanford. Stanford escaped at home over Iowa State. It took overtime to get it done, but they escaped. Cameron Brent fired out, only had 8 points. Can she come back with a vengeance and do what she need to do to help her team advance to the Elite 8? Or will NC State, will the Wolfpack rise and get back to the Elite 8 and possibly get back to a Final Four? The Wolfpack standing in the Cardinals' way, and this is going to be a fun one up in Portland. Stanford going to have the home crowd because it's in Portland, but NC State is not afraid of the moment. I'm looking forward to this game right here. If I'm sucking a game for Friday, when it comes to the women's, it is this game right here. NC State and Stanford. Both teams been here before. Both teams have been to the Elite 8. Both teams have been to Final Fours. But only one can move on. Another one must take a loss. And then the nightcap on Friday, 10 p.m. on ESPN. The Gonzaga Bulldogs, 32-3, taking on the Big 12 champions, the number 1 seed in that bracket, the Texas Longhorns. Cole, how you feeling about your ladies going against the Bulldogs of Gonzaga? This could be an interesting slot here. Because last time me and Cole, we talked about how young the Longhorns are on the women's side. They got a Gonzaga Bulldog team. They are not afraid of the moment. They come ready to play. It's going to be interesting one here to see how this goes. Because Gonzaga is not a pushover. Gonzaga got some dogs. Will the Longhorns survive and get to the Elite Eight? Can they get to the regional finals as the number one team in that region? Or will Gonzaga pull off the upset? That's Friday. That's just Friday. And Friday already looked good, but Saturday looks even gooder. Oh, Saturday. Saturday at 1 p.m. Saturday. ABC. The region of death. Region 2 in Albany. Woo, boy. Hold on. Cole responded to me. Cole says, let me see what Cole said. The Lady Longhorns should get with the Lady Bulldogs. They will get tested and they will have a slight home court advantage. I feel good about the Longhorns' chances. Okay. But this is what me and Cole been waiting for in the rest of the world. The region of death. This is Iowa region. 1 o'clock. ABC. The reigning, defending national champion, the LSU Tigers. Coming off a scale from Middle Tennessee State. Now they are in Albany, New York. They take on the 2 seed, the UCLA Bruins. That's a juicy way to get started. We get the national defending champions to kick it off, and they got the 2 seed UCLA. Oh, this gonna be a good one right here. It's gonna be some interesting games on Saturday to kick this one off, and then after that, we're gonna stick in Albany. We're gonna stay in Albany at 3:30 because we got the number one girl in all of basketball, Caitlin Clark, taking the floor, and they going against Colorado. Ooh, Colorado. Colorado was the one who came out of that interesting game between Colorado and Kansas State. Colorado and Iowa, they faced off before. I think Iowa escaped that game, if I remember correctly. I think Iowa escaped that game. Let me see if I can find it. And then go do some research and try to get you that score. Let's see. Did they face off? Somebody said they faced off. I want to see. Because I know they faced off twice with Kansas State, surprisingly. How that worked out. No, they faced off last year. That's what it is. They faced off last year, and Iowa got them. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Caitlin Clark, maybe that scare from West Virginia probably worked them up. Well, you talking about another team that's physical in Colorado. I don't think Iowa can handle physicality like that. In Colorado, that's a physical team. I do believe them whistles might be a little even out this time. It won't be no 35-3 free throw differential in this one. It's gonna get interesting here between Colorado, the Buffaloes, and the Hawkeyes. Can Clayton Clark survive this game and get to the regional finals? That's gonna be interesting. What Coach Johnson says, LSU and UCLA. That's the matchup of the Sweet 16, and I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. Because the defending champs, they had a scare. And UCLA is on a mission. That's going to be interesting. Then we go back to Portland, 5:30 on a Saturday. Baylor taking on Juju Watkins and the USC Trojans. Baylor's looking good. Baylor's starting to get back to being Baylor again. But Juju's on a different level, bro. Juju is just on a different level. This lady here, knowing that her team can pick her up when she has an off game, Juju has walked into this NCAA tournament, her first ever NCAA tournament, and she has put on the show. She is not messing around in this tournament. She's just not. Okay, let me give you some stats from Juju. Okay, in their first game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Juju Watson had 23 points with 5 boards, 4 assists. She shot 8 for 18 from the field. Okay, that's game 1. And then she had to go against Kansas in the round 32, right? Juju messed around and she had 28 points, 9 from 21 from the field, 4 from 8 from 3 with 11 boards and 5 assists. Juju's not playing. She is not afraid of the big lights or the big moment of March Madness. Let's see if Baylor gonna beat Baylor again. But I like Juju in this one. Unfortunately, she plays for USC. And then the final game, 8 o'clock ESPN on a Saturday afternoon to wrap up the Sweet 16. Coach Lawson and the Blue Devils taking on Gino Auriemma. And the UConn Huskies, we're talking Paige Becker, Paige Buckets. Does Carol Lawson, does Coach have anything in her repertoire to put up with Aaliyah Edwards and Paige Beckers? Y'all just lucky Asia Flood is not healthy because you add her to the mix with Aaliyah Edwards and Paige Beckers. Oh my God, UConn might be a 1 seed instead of Texas. No offense, Coach Jones, but if I'm being honest here. If Asia Flood wasn't injured, ooh Lord, see this is what been happening to Gino. He been dealing with injuries. If his 3 stars are not injured, ooh, we don't know what kind of UConn team we're looking at. If I'm being completely honest. Because I believe if Asia Flood wasn't injured, they might be a 1 seed. They might be a 1 seed, okay? But they're a 3 seed, and it's interesting. They are 3 seed and they have 31 wins. They have the same amount of wins as Iowa does, and they're a 3 seed. Think about that. You have a 3 seed that has 31 wins, and one of your 1 seeds is at 30 wins. Another one of your 1 seeds is at 28 wins. Just imagine if they was fully healthy for Gino Auriemma. Now they're not. Duke, Carolina, they did a hell of a job shocking Buckeyes up in Columbus. Now you in Portland. You going from Columbus back to Durham, North Carolina to Portland, Oregon now. While UConn was in Connecticut the whole entire time, so they just hurried, hopping on a flight and going to Oregon. So it's going to be an interesting one to see here. I don't know how this is going to go, but it's a juicy matchup. The Sweet 16 on both sides looks very good. We're going to have some very good games. The men are starting to step it up, which I am thankful for it. I'm thankful for the men to step it up. But we all know the women got the star power, and the stars will be on display. South Carolina will be on Friday doing their thing. You got Cameron Britt on Friday as well. And then on Saturday, the defending champs is LSU, Caitlin Clark, Juju Watson, Paige Becker. It's gonna be a fun time. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then you have the Elite 8 as well. But we don't know the matches for the Elite 8. We only got the Sweet 16, so that's all we got. And that's